Hi, my name is Stephanie Richter, and this is my midterm review. I wanted to give you a little background about myself. I am returning to school after maybe 13 years away. In the meantime, I've been at St. Luke's Health Partners, working as a project coordinator. It was through a leader mentorship that I discovered that I wanted to go back to school. So that is definitely something that is important. Part of my job is helping where help is needed. I work with project owners and develop plans so that they meet their goals and objectives and ensure completions of projects and ensure successful implementation. So, digging into more of the business background has been super beneficial and has given me kind of some aha moments to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So the four areas that I wanted to kind of review and go over that seem to be the most impactful for myself were the ethics and social responsibilities that we have as businesses and or being entrepreneurs. The second is management and leadership, as well as structuring organizations, and then last but not least, motivating employees. Let's get into ethics. Ethics is something that I think for me was ingrained at a young age. We have to be mindful of what we do and respect not only other people but the law to ensure that we have normal standards. If we didn't, then we would all be running amok and we'd probably still be living in the dark ages. Accountability, again, should be shared across the board. Something that is ingrained at us at where I work is we have what we call I CARE values, which stand for, it's an abbreviation for integrity, compassion, accountability, and respect and excellence. And these are all values that not only we as people should own to, but we're held responsible to in my job as well. We are evaluated each year on making sure that we have something that can say that we have done something to prove to each of these areas. And I think that any business that puts good morals and values in place will ensure that you have a strong workforce, especially if you have leadership that is continuously providing examples of how to be those people in those capacities where I am more on the business side, but the nursing side, the care side, you have to be compassionate and caring. People are in these life-threatening situations, and we have to put our feelings above others so that we can ensure that they feel safe and trusted in their care. Because when that trust is lost, it's definitely not an easy thing to gain back. As we saw, or as we learned through Johnson & Johnson, while I don't think that they should lose everything that they've done as a company, because there is good things to be said about them, it's going to be a very long uphill battle for them because of the actions that they made and allowed to happen that could have been probably stopped along early on in the process. One of the takeaways that I think that I do on a daily basis is, asking those questions. Is it legal? Is it balanced? And how would it make me feel? Because if it's going to make me feel bad, then it's not something that should be happening in the workplace. So I just think that those are all mindful things that we should be doing, not only in a business landscape, but us as humans and how we treat others, because how we treat others is what we are going to receive in return. So I think that those are things that I take with me on a daily basis, and I think that I will continue to do as I carry my career in this. A lot of my role is being compliance and adhering to rules in a program, and it's nothing new to anybody. You know, follow the rules, play fairly, and you will be rewarded. The second bucket I'd like to go over is management and leadership. A fun story is the reason why I'm here is because of good, strong leadership. I've had good managers, but I've never had a true leader like I do now. She gave me the confidence and that I needed the confidence and the push to get back into school. I never thought it was something that I wanted, but it was through her encouragement that made me feel like I can achieve this and that I'm smart enough, and it will not only make me smarter, but help me in the work that I'm doing to better align my goals. She leads great meetings and wants what's best for patient care and is very knowledgeable. And through her good example, it makes me want to be a better person. I want to do well because not only is it good for me, but it will reflect good on her. She is a good leader. And to that point, she has made me realize that I want to be a leader. I think even through this learning in our chapter about, I think the quote that I found the most impactful is they tend to guide, train, support, motivate, and coach employees rather than tell them what to do. And that to me is all, I never thought that could be a role in the workforce. You know, when I think of management and leadership and directors, is that they are there to tell others what to do, and that you will always have these employees that you have to take care of and deal with negativity and complaints all the time. While that will always be a component of management and leadership, I'm realizing in the area that I work now that management is no longer something that's the most necessary. You need leaders. You need people who want to achieve more as a team and taking an approach of instead of holding people back, you're motivating them to figure out these issues themselves and adapting and coming up with solutions instead of problems, just telling you about the problems. And I think that as a leader, I can come in and do just what my boss did for me and empower them to find the solution and implement the solution, because you're only as strong as your weakest link. And I don't even think teams really have weak links. We just need to find better ways to communicate. I think that will be a fun thing to do as manager, is look into other adaptations of human behavior and how we interact with each other and how we come up with a good plan as a team. So definitely found a lot of fulfillment in looking at different management styles and how it's ever changing, and things that I'm already doing are management functions, like the functions of management: planning, leading, organizing, and controlling. I do those things on a daily basis, and I had no idea, and I just really enjoyed knowing that I'm implementing a lot of the work that is business. The third bucket would be structuring an organization. I am actually currently going through an organization redesign, and it is a much necessary redesign. We're still new in the work that we're doing, and we had new leaders come on with these great ideas, and we need to hire these roles. And I think that they got ahead of the horse and brought on, skill sets that were probably ahead of the game and weren't ready to be implemented it in our culture. They didn't do more of a higher level breakdown of what our assessment of our needs are. And we had employees that kind of didn't feel valued or supported because they just sat there and just did tasky jobs that didn't bring fulfillment. So now we're finally looking at all of that and really understanding what the organization needs to provide successful outcomes for our members. And while we're still waiting, which kind of causes that insecurity, this worry because of the lack of transparency. We know there's a lot of us that that there should be some good should come from this, but I think that's what's the interesting part is that I still work in a culture that thinks that secrecy is the best process when what we're finding is the more transparent you are and the more you involve people in this decision process, the better off you're going to be implementing that org redesign to get support and buy-in. I really liked the thought of the Zappos organization where it was more of a team-based approach. I think that when you have that, you have people that want to see better outcomes because it reflects on a team and not just themselves. And they have to be held accountable to directly who they're sitting in a room with. I think that for me as a leader, when I get to that point, I want to ensure my staff feel supported and there's no lack of understanding or why, because the more you explain the why, the easier it will be to implement your change. And that's a lot of what I hear about all the time. I recently went to a change management course, and anytime you put planning and development first and foremost, you're in listening, really listening to the needs of your team is when you're going to have a successful outcome. The last area that I found impactful would be motivating employees. Just in the fact that I'm motivated by others. I found that one of my strengths is that I'm an arranger, and part of an arranger's strength is they want to see others do well, and I work with a team every day on their goals. I know what their goals are, and I let them know that I'm there to support them in their goals and achieve their goals, because when you get your goals accomplished, it's a team win. It's not only better for your team, but it's good for the organization. Our productivity's up because we know we want to support our team and we see their value. And that's kind of where I think that when I build my career as a leadership, I will definitely be, the more goal setting theory in mind, because it's what I do already. It's so fun to read all these chapters and find things that I'm already implementing in my career that I didn't know I didn't know the theory behind it, and it just sets the framework for understanding and it just makes you clicks in your head, which is so exciting. And I think that I will be a successful leader just based on the coaching I'm getting. I'm getting lots of opportunities for mentorship, and I want to be that same leader that I have had in my career. I want to challenge everybody who I work with to want more for themselves, because everybody has something to bring to the table, and we just have to find the right way to do it together, because there's definitely skill sets that I will never be able to achieve, and that's definitely with, the IT and the data analyst. Those guys have a special skill set that I think we all need to leverage now that we're moving into a more data-driven business landscape. So, making sure that those team members feel valued, and then along with helping interpret the business side so that they understand what they want. So a lot of struggles I have with right now is the data team wants a specific question answered, but the other clinical side feels like they're giving them the answer, but they're not interpreting it. So it's just figuring out how we all speak the same language when we all speak English, but we don't. Yes, I've really enjoyed everything that I've learned so far, and I'm eager to get moving forward with the next couple of chapters coming up. I know that finance, planning, accounting have definitely been areas that I'm a little nervous about, but think that will be. I'm a numbers person. That's the one thing that is cool about numbers is there's no gray matter. It's black or white. You either have this or you don't. And so I think that the more I find out about finance and accounting, it's going to make my job at work just even that much more beneficial. Again, thank you for your learnings this semester so far. I've really enjoyed it. I've definitely taken away a lot of interesting things that not only did I already doing it, but it gave me more framework and more understanding it just has given me confidence at work already. So I am very appreciative and looking forward to continuing to learn. Have a nice day. Thanks.